Hello guys, today I want to show you how to create some functionality, some mini demo project on top of Laravel Jetstream. And I've been asked quite a lot on this channel in the comments to create something on Jetstream, like how to create roles, how to create some blog system or something like that. And I see a general problem with Jetstream. As a software, it's good, but the way it was launched, I didn't like it. I even had a Twitter argument with Taylor about that. So the way it was launched and positioned confused people. So now, as a result of that, people are afraid of Jetstream. Either they are afraid because it has Livewire, Inertia, and Fortify and stuff inside, so it's hard to learn, it seems. Or people who try to install Jetstream are lost what to do next, how to add more features. So in this video, I will show you that you can use Jetstream without any of those shiny new stuff, that you can code in old Laravel way after installing Jetstream. And here's the demo project for you. So I'm not sure if you've seen the Jetstream dashboard, but this is how it looks. And on top of that, we will add two menu items: CRUD to manage tasks and CRUD to manage users. And also add roles and permissions, so administrator role would access users management and simple user would access only the tasks. So it's a simple CRUD of adding the user, you can assign the role, you can create, and it's all based on Laravel Jetstream under the hood. So I will try to recreate that project. It won't be strictly live coding, some parts will be copy-pasted, but I will show you the main logic, how to add functionality on top of Jetstream. So we start by creating a totally fresh Laravel project with Laravel new and project name. I have a folder project 4 -- jet. And that will install Laravel Jetstream with new project. Which stack do you prefer? We will choose Livewire, but that Livewire will be used only for Jetstream stuff for the profile, but new functionality won't use any of those two. But let's choose Livewire. Do you need Teams functionality? No, in this demo. And then the installation begins. So Laravel new installation with Composer install, then it will install Jetstream stuff, so it takes like a minute or two. So as you can see here, Composer installer finished for Laravel, and now Laravel Jetstream is being installed. And there was a third step I wanted to show you. So inside of Jetstream we chose Livewire, so it installs Laravel Sanctum and Livewire as a third step. And as a side note, it's pretty interesting to analyze the installation process, so I will link in the description of this video the link to the part of the code in Jetstream which does all of that magic. So updates Composer file and reruns Composer update or Composer install. It's pretty interesting. So now what we need to do is run npm install and npm run dev. And of course I need to run that on that project 4, not in that folder, like this. Okay, and it's done, npm run dev. Now, according to official Laravel documentation, we need to run the migrations. And I will run migrations with refresh of my database, so migrate fresh seed, because I had older database in that folder. And final thing we will do is publish the components. So below in the documentation there are views pages, and if you want to publish them to resources folder, there is one thing you need to run. So vendor publish Jetstream views, like this. And that's it. We can run project 4.test, the domain that I've prepared. It's default Laravel page, but if we click register, it's Jetstream design, and we can register. I use fake filler Chrome extension, we register, and we're in. So we've installed Jetstream successfully. Now let's try to create a new menu item here alongside the dashboard. So let's find out where menu items are in Jetstream. To do that, I will kind of teach you to navigate Laravel code, because I see it's quite a big struggle for especially junior developers how to find some parts of the code if it's fragmented over like 5 different files and folders and structure. So I start with the routes. We see the dashboard here, right? So let's open Routes Web in here, and we see the dashboard here. It just returns the view, nothing else. So we click on the view. By the way, I have a plugin installed called Laravel Idea that helps me to navigate in PHP Storm. It makes quite a lot of things clickable which aren't clickable by default. So in the Blade file, we have a thing called Blade components. So X something, X app layout, X slot, X jet welcome. If you're not familiar with Blade components, I have a separate video on that, and I will link that in the description below. X app layout is actually under the hood app layout component inside of the vendor. So that is not accessible publicly. It's in vendor Jetstream, components app layout. It still views the blade, so renders the blade. We click on layouts app, and layouts app is public. So resources views layouts app blade. And it's based on Tailwind. So basically to navigate Jetstream, you need to know two things: blade components and Tailwind CSS. You may need to know or understand some Livewire or inertia stuff, but you don't have to customize that necessarily. So in here in AppBlade, we have Livewire. And you probably need to know what Livewire component is behind this. So this is not clickable, so I need to find that in all the project, or I need to know that actual component name is camel case of the same blade. So navigation dropdown. So I search for navigation dropdown. And I find the Livewire component, also from the vendor, which renders navigation dropdown. And that navigation dropdown is public. So did you see the pattern? The Livewire components are not public, they are core of Jetstream, but visual stuff, resources, views are public and you can customize them. And this is exactly what we will do. So we finally landed at resources, views, navigation dropdown, which actually contains that menu. So you may skip all that tracing of the files and folders, and that's the only thing you need to know, that the menu is in navigation dropdown, and here's the dashboard link. And let's just copy that. XJet nav link is a blade component for that. So let's call it tasks, route tasks index. And I don't think we need to change anything else. Oh, we do need. So tasks index, active or inactive menu item. And let's create that route. In fact, let's create a controller and the route. So PHP artisan make controller task controller -- resource, because it will be a CRUD of tasks. And then inside of the web file, we do route resource tasks task controller class, like this. And later we will add middleware for roles and permissions. Inside of that task controller, its index method, which will be the destination of that link. So let's try it out. Let's refresh the page. And now we see the tasks. And if we click that, it lands on the tasks, which is empty, but it's working. It doesn't throw any errors. And then in the controller, you can do whatever. Your structure, your code, without any Jetstream magic or Livewire or anything. And this is exactly what I did here behind the scenes. So it's a typical Laravel controller, like it worked in Laravel 7, 6, or even 5, I think. Index method, get the tasks, show the index. Create is the form to create the task. Store is with validation form request. Show the task, edit the task form. Route model binding is used. Update again with form request for validation, and destroy with delete. So nothing really fancy or new here. And in the terminal, I've made a model with migration. I've made a few request files. I've migrated. And in migrations, it's just one string of description. In the model, it's fillable. That's it. The main Jetstream thing comes from the views. So you need to use Tailwind CSS to create your views. So let's take a look at tasks index view. So if we get back to the dashboard page, let's copy and paste the dashboard and create a new page for tasks index. So we have resources views dashboards. Let's save as resources views tasks index blade, like this. And then instead of dashboard, we have tasks list. And there's no default table component or something like that in Jetstream, so we may take it from Tailwind UI. Tailwind UI is a component library for Tailwind by Adam Wathan and Steve Sugar, and it's not free, but some components are free, including table, this one. So preview, this table is publicly available, the code, so we may look at it, copy and paste into our index blade, I think instead of this part. Let's try it out without refresh. Click the tasks, and we have the table. And now what we need to do is just replace the table, the hard-coded data, with our own tasks. So I've done that behind the scenes. You may play around with more Tailwind classes. So there are two columns, description and actions, and there is a for each of tasks with showing the description and showing view, edit, delete. Those routes already exist, but we didn't fill them yet. And visually it looks like this. So a list or a table. From the database, I filled in manually the first task, or if we add the second task, caps lock, refresh, it appears in the table. So again, it's a proof that you don't need to use Jetstream stuff except for Tailwind. And from here we create other pages for the CRUD. So in the index we create route to the tasks create. So this is a button that looks like this. So you add a task. The create blade for that is in the same folder. So create blade form. The styling for that was kind of borrowed from the profile page. So there is a profile page in Tailwind by default. It contains the forms. So Tailwind styling is from there. You add a task. It is stored in the database, it appears in the table, you can view, that's show blade, simple table, back to the list, edit the task, also works, controller you've seen that already, and delete also should work. So now we've created our tasks CRUD on top of Jetstream. And now let's add a second menu item into our system, user management with roles and permissions. So here I am logged in as administrator. I've done it behind the scenes already and I will show you the code step by step. An administrator sees the users list with management of users. So step by step. In the code, we have another link. For now, ignore user access. I will get to that in a few minutes. So we have a route to users index. And also, maybe it will be a new trick for some of you. This is how you can check the route parts, tasks, star. Perfect for resource controllers. So we have users index. In the routes web, let's open that up. I've made a route group, middleware by auth, and here's our previous controller, and here's our new controller, user controller, which is pretty similar to the task controller, pretty similar CRUD resource controller, with a bit more logic. So for now, ignore the gates and the access. I will get to that in a minute. We get the user with roles. What are the roles? If we click the user, I added a belongs to many relationship with roles. And role is a separate model with just the title. So in this case, I'm not using any external permission for role and permission management like Spotty, permissions, or bouncer. There are a few of them, but we will implement that without any package. So user may have many roles. Let's get back to our controller. We create the user and we assign the roles. We store the user and sync with the roles. Again, belongs to many relationship. We show the user, we edit the user. So nothing really complicated here. You may want to look at the migration. So role user is a pivot table with foreign ID. This is the syntax that came in Laravel 7. But generally, user management is a typical CRUD controller. That was my point of this section. And if you go to users index blade, it's almost the same as task list. So the table of users with the actions for user show and user edit. So for example, if you add user, let's use fake filler Chrome extension, we create the user, so typical stuff. Now let's get to the permissions, how to make that menu item available only for admin. For that, let's analyze the seeders. So I have a file called database seeders, this one, and this will kind of explain to you the hierarchy of permissions and roles. So for permissions table seeder, we have two permissions, user access and task access, and we have a separate model permission. So that's number one. Then we have roles table seeder, which is admin and user. Then we have a role user table, no, not that one. I wanted to show you permission role table. So many-to-many relationship. So every role may have many permissions, and every permission may belong to many roles. So it's a many-to-many. That's why we have permission role table seeder, and for the admin user we assign both permissions, and for simple user we assign only task permission. So that, then we seed the users, but we seed admin with ID 1, user with ID 2, and then in the separate seeder we assign the roles. So first user admin, second user simple user. And then how do we turn that data into this can user access? For that we need to define the gates. Somewhere we need to run gate define user access and then true or false for specific role who is logged in. And for that we have a special middleware. I've created a middleware called auth gates. It's an app HTTP middleware. In here, let's close it down. So if there is a logged in user, we get the roles, and for each of the permissions of all those roles, it's some operations with arrays and relationships, but at the end of it, we gate define, for example, task access or user access, and we return true or false, depending on the role has that access or not. And then we assign that middleware auth gates in all the pages. So there is a file called app HTTP kernel where you can enable some middleware to run on all the web pages. So web group means that auth gates will run on any page. We'll assign the permissions gate define, and then in any place of that page we can use can user access in the blade, or, not sure if you noticed, in the controller So user controller here, in the index, we can use gate denies or gate allows user access. So even if someone logged in as a simple user would know the URL, in the index they would be denied. And third place where we use that, in the store, in the validation request, form request. In addition to validating the rules of the fields, there's authorize method, which will use the same gates. So again, a recap. We have permissions and roles seeded in the database. Then we have a middleware that transforms that database data into gate-defined statements. And then whenever we need that, we use gate allows, gate denies, or just can statement in the blade. Again, there's nothing specific to Jetstream here. Again, I was trying to convince you that Jetstream is just the layer, the core stuff, but on top of that you can do whatever you want. Although I will show you one Jetstream specific thing, or in fact Laravel Fortify thing. Fortify is the auth backend that powers the Jetstream, and by default you wouldn't need to know about that. But in our case we need to assign the role for a new registered user. So if I log out and click register, in here, after filling the form, I need to assign the role. And to do that, there's a specific folder of Laravel Fortify called app actions. And Fortify folder, there's a create new user, actually the method where the creation happens. And in here you can customize whatever you want. And before my customizations, it looked like this. So like this, I've added just assigning the user and assigning the role. So I'm attaching role ID 2 to any new registered user. And that's it for this video. I hope that Jetstream is not that scary for you anymore. You may or may not want to use that. The GitHub repository is available on GitHub for free as usual. The link is in the description of this video. And again, I advise you to subscribe to the channel because I'm shooting the videos daily now. If you have more ideas about Jetstream or Laravel or whatever, shoot in the comments. Let's discuss what will be my next videos. See you guys in other videos.